we go.
And we're back. AI for entrepreneurs. Myself, Christopher Lang. We're in the building. Episode, what's this, 9?
This is 9 now.
Episode
we've
9,
been
man.
cooking for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we're almost at a 10 piece. But we here, man. AI for entrepreneurs. A lot has been going on. A lot of things we're going to talk about today. Look forward to our main topic, which is the future of AI, especially as it details and caters to entrepreneurs. But before we get to that, we're going to start, as we always do, with our first segment, Last Week in AI. Christopher Lang, what you got for us, man? Last Week in AI. It's been a busy week.
We had another pretty interesting week in AI. So the first story that we have, I know last week we talked about there being AI fighter pilot dogfighting, and that was pretty cool. This week we have AI controlled Formula One cars. So they wanted to test like reaction speed and see if an AI could actually fully autonomously control a Formula One car, but not just on a straight track, on an actual Formula One track. And if anyone knows anything about Formula One, it's a very windy, curvy track. I learned that from this article. So it needs some complex movements. And in addition to, so there was a winner. It was only AI versus AI. There were no human drivers involved. But there was a bunch of different AI companies and a bunch of different AI cars that were involved. And, you know, there was a clear winner in the race. It was a company out of, let's see, the Abu Dhabi Autonomous Racing League. It's Grand Prix, on April 28th, over in Abu Dhabi. They held the actual race. And so not only were the AI car, you know, trying to just drive and control on this crazy course, but in addition to that, they were doing things like passing other cars, just like you would in a normal Formula One race. And these cars were going upwards of 155 miles an hour. So again, split-second decision-making on the part of the AI. There were some crashes and things that went on during the preliminaries and during testing phases, but they were able to fix those really quick for the actual race that went off. So AI is really, really going into everything, and the fact that these AIs can make those like millisecond decisions probably faster than a lot of humans can. I don't know about professional race car drivers because that's what they have to do for a living. But so, you know, Formula One, AI.
So the AI was controlling each car from start to finish, right? So
Different AI in each car. So each company had their own car. Yep.
And passing, you know, extra speed hair, turbo hair, brake hair. That's a lot of minute details, and it's just, you know, it's crazy that it's advanced that far, and then the implications of how far it's going to advance, even going further. Like that's crazy.
I'm waiting for Elon Musk to swoop in and buy up the winner's company so that he could put that in his Teslas.
Honestly, like I almost kind of rather watch AI cars race against each other than watch people. It's a little bit safer. The cars can go at faster speed. As a nerd, I want to see who creates the better AI to control the car, right? Like, you know, like let's see Tesla.
And when there's a massive crash.
Yeah, if it crashes, it crashes, right? Like we could be like, oh, it's even better. You can celebrate
lots of money.
Then. But let's see,
exactly.
Let's see like Apple AI controlled race car versus Tesla AI controlled race car and see who wins.
I'm calling you out, Elon and Tim.
I would sign up for that. And I don't go.
Yeah, I'd watch that. Yeah, we're calling you out, Tim Cook, Elon Musk. Let's get Bezos in there. Zuckerberg, build cars. Let's do this.
Yeah, like
Google. I can't remember the CEO's name, but get in on this.
Yeah, that'd be a cool way to settle differences. AI race car wars.
So next up, we actually have customers complaining about Meta's new ad buying AI. So what they're complaining about is, so Meta, if you don't know, Meta has a new ad buying AI, and it's supposed to super enhance your ads. It's going to, find the best audience. It's going to automatically make changes to your campaigns, and it's supposed to be able to, get more out of your campaigns and out of your budget by letting AI handle it. But customers are apparently saying that Meta's ad buying AI is blowing through their entire budgets in a matter of hours. There was an interview. This article here is from Ars Technica, and they interviewed a bunch of different marketing companies who were using this new Advantage Plus shopping campaign. And it says, while the system is supposed to automate a lot of the setup for you, mixing and matching various creative elements. So not only does it help you with the ad buying, but it also helps you set up the ads. And they spoke to several marketers and businesses who all had similar stories of being hit by the AI-powered spending spree as soon as they let Meta's system take over the campaign. The description on one account says the AI had blown through roughly 75% of the daily ad budgets for both clients in under a couple of hours, and that the CPMs, or cost per impressions, were roughly 10 times higher than normal. Meanwhile, the revenue earned from those AI-powered ads was nearly zero. So it was going on a spending spree. It was spending way too much money per acquisition or per view and not making any return on that investment. So I think Meta has a little bit of work to do on the AI side as far as ad running goes, because I don't think they're going to get very many people using it in the near future.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Imagine you have a budget, right? Meta's telling you, like, let us use give us your budget. We'll manage it and get the best results, the best return. And you're thinking like, okay, it's Meta, right? They're the ones that, build their software. They know how to reach people. It sounds great in concept, right? Like, you're going to advertise on Instagram, you're going to advertise on Facebook. Let Instagram and Facebook's AI help you better allocate that budget. And then the AI just gives all the money that just blows through that budget in like hours in a day like that.
Yeah.
Oh man, that would hurt. That would hurt. That
Well,
would
and
hurt.
that's at least the companies, at least that were interviewed for this by The Verge. They
Right.
were marketing companies who were paying attention, so they were probably able to turn it off. But if someone, normal everyday Joe, went and set up a campaign and just let the AI run with it, all of a sudden they might come back a week later to see how their campaign's doing and be like, "What the hell?" Like, why? What? Like, it would just be an absolute disaster for those types of people. So at least these were caught early in these scenarios.
The support isn't the
No, the
easiest.
support's basically non-existent when it comes to Meta ads or any of that. It's a near impossible to use system, and you can't get any help. I speak from personal experience. I know you've had to deal with them as well.
Hey, we're live on IG. So Meta algorithm, we love you, but we do see
Do
areas
better.
in which you could improve. So don't penalize us too much. But yeah, no, I'm not letting AI manage my ad budget. I'll let AI.
At least not Meta's. There's some third-party tools that use AI to manage ads. I'd give them a try. Maybe that'll be one of the segments we do coming up. We'll run some ads and we'll see how each of these different AI tools that run ads, see how they do and compare them.
I need to be in a loop. I need to be in the loop when it comes to like me spending money. I'm not.
But we'd watch closely.
Yeah, I'm not willing to let AI just run with it. Right. Like I make suggestions, create content. I just need to be in the position of approving. And I don't know, when it comes to like spending my money or spending my business's budget, like I just couldn't let that happen. Right. Like I'm not going to let this let the AI do it. Like I'm not there yet. Personally.
Not quite.
Not quite.
Yeah, I'm not giving you access to my wallet.
Yeah.
So next up in last week, we have. So OpenAI rolled out a new memory feature in ChatGPT. So this is new for some, not for others. I actually had this pop up on my account a couple of weeks ago. So what the memory feature does is it allows ChatGPT to learn and remember things about you throughout different chats rather than on a chat by chat basis, and not just things that you manually type in and tell it. So if you're working with it and you give it some new information that might be relevant to working with you in the future, ChatGPT is going to note that and log it in its memory so that in future chats, it has that information. Now, you do have the ability to go in and see what ChatGPT learned about you and has stored. You can completely blow it up. You can delete specific things out of there. So you do have control over it. But the goal is to make ChatGPT way more useful because it knows you better. It knows your business better. This article here goes through and shows you how to navigate the memory feature. So if you go into your settings, there's a personalization tab, and you could toggle on and off the memory, or there's a button to actually manage the memory where you can tell it, don't remember this, or just blow up its entire memory completely. So pretty cool feature. I haven't been using ChatGPT too much. I've been primarily using Opus, Llama 3, some of the other open source models to test them out. So I haven't had too much time to play with the memory feature. But when I started using it a couple of weeks ago, it was pretty cool.
I love it. I love it. Like, see, it's those little features for me as an entrepreneur that I find the most useful, right? Because like when we use AI, let's face it, our main goal is to be efficient, right? To use it to shortcut time, shortcut different processes, and having to tell the AI about your business, about yourself, about your campaign, right? Like I know you can even with ChatGPT, like there's like those custom instructions, so you can tell it a little bit about yourself, and it will remember that. But like to be able to pick up things in the conversation within the thread itself is like you can build upon what it knows, and it remembering that not just within that one thread, but throughout threads. That's to me is something that makes it extremely useful, right? Like I love
And I
that.
know, well, and I know you used to do this, and I used to do the same thing. Like I'd have one chat thread where that I'd give it a bunch of information and then just keep going back to that same chat thread so that I didn't have to retell it the same information over and over again.
Right.
And that's great, but there's only 128,000 token context window. So after so long, it's not going to remember the stuff you told it all the way at the beginning. Whereas using this memory feature, also the ones where you can give it that information, it always has that information throughout the entirety of your chat, no matter where you are in that context window.
Yeah, like now it will remember that, and that's powerful. So like just even talking to it and that, like while you're communicating with the AI, you just happen to have a thing that you want to remember. You can just say, hey, make sure you remember this. Or it's also smart enough to understand, like contextually, you just said something that it should remember, and then it'll let you know it remembered that. And
You've
that to me
requested
is
this
really, really
three
cool. Like,
different times now, so let me make a note of that.
yeah, and to me, like I said, that it's little things like that. It's like there's having the AI, but then there's making the AI more useful, more efficient for us entrepreneurs, specifically like the end user, the person using the AI. That's the real trick, right? To me, right? Is technology is powerful, but making it useful and more efficient is the real substance in terms of like actually getting
Exactly.
something out of it and using it and applying it on a day-to-day basis. So I, shout out to ChatGPT for that feature. It's definitely a cool feature, man.
And I've actually been thinking about building something like that into the Optimize AI tool suite, specifically for assistant usage when you're chatting with one of the different assistants. Um, I haven't quite worked out all of the nooks and crannies of, the caveats to how to do that. I also don't have billions and billions of OpenAI dollars to pour into researching that functionality, but I got a pretty good idea. I'm pretty close to actually being able to build that into our suite.
I thought about suggesting it, and but then I started thinking like, okay, what's the difference? Because there is a level of memory that we have. So that's the thing. So like, there is memory. There's the threads. Like you can save your conversation. Like so, there's also custom instructions. So like I know we kind of built that out in our section, well, in our tool, where they can enter their like personal bio, tell about their business. It always draws back to that section. So it was one of those things where it's like having the better extra version would be nice. Like being, what ChatGPT is doing with, kind of like the
Mhm.
memory within the thread and kind of knowing when, adding different things in context. It's cool, but it wasn't like if we didn't have any memory, I'd be like, yo, Chris, we gotta get memory. But like
Yeah,
there's
we have some.
yeah, exactly. They just took it and took it to like another. They refined the way the chat or the AI goes about remembering things, and I really, like I said, kudos to them. But yeah, it would be really cool to see that in our tool suite as well.
Well,
So with
again, I
that,
have the framework built out. I just
coming
need to
soon.
code it and test it. Yeah, coming
Yeah,
soon. It'll be on dev in the coming weeks. Yeah, like I said, I have the framework ready for that.
nice,
So
nice, nice.
next up, we have a little bit of a mystery going on in the
Okay.
world of AI.
Ooh, good
So
mystery.
y- good mid, literally baffling everybody right now. So I know we talk about the chatbot arena a bunch. And over on LMSys, you could pick and just chat with different models as well as, do the ranking in the chatbot arena. So a new model randomly popped up. Nobody knows who the author is. Nobody knows where it came from. And it's titled GPT-2 Chatbot. That's it. That's the only information we have about it. And the quality of the AI is on par, if not better, than the latest, greatest model of GPT-4 from OpenAI. So it's a lot of speculation. Is this maybe a preview, something that OpenAI is putting out there to test, maybe of GPT 4.5 or maybe even GPT 5? But at the same time, because it's not like super wowing anybody to the like it's wowing everyone, especially experts, with how good the model is and how it's a lot of times it's surpassing the best version of GPT-4, but not in a way that we would expect to see from something like GPT-5 coming out.
Mm,
But nobody knows who built it, where it came from, and the only place that it's accessible is on LMSys, and really only limitedly because so many people are trying to use it now that it's actually like you can't get into, you have to like wait and keep trying over and over until you get some computing power available on LMSys to chat with that bot. I personally have not been able to test it. I have tried for days, but
wow,
yeah, so it's a mystery. We don't know what it is, who built it, if someone just
that's
kind of named it
interesting.
that to get attention. So yeah, so there'll be more to come on this. I'm definitely closely following this story.
So he could have put it out. They could have put it out. I'm just theorizing, hypothesizing, but they could have put it out as a way to like, because you said it's not that demonstratively better than GPT-4, right?
Right. Well,
So
I'm saying that's what they said. Again, I
that's what
haven't
they're
gotten to
saying.
play with it,
But
so I
that's a
can't compare. Right.
but that's a cool way to test things, right? So like let's say you have GPT 4.5. You want to put it out, but it's not really that, that much that great. So it's a cool way to put it out, get some feedback. People are like, yeah, it's like GPT 4.1. That way, put your whole brand behind it. It doesn't look like you're like moving slow now. It's like, all right, so with this whole Drake Kendrick Lamar rap battle and stuff, right?
Right.
A
Right.
lot of times, like people were saying that some of these fake AR songs in the battle were like actually the real artists, but they were just kind of putting it out there to test it, right? And if people didn't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily like the song, you could be like, oh, well,
They
it
can just
wasn't me, it was AI. But if people were like, oh, that's
right.
fire, you'd be like, oh, that was me, then you send out the
Mm-hmm.
enhanced version, right? So it could be, something along those lines with what they're doing. It's a cool way to put it out. Test 4.5. If it doesn't look that good, it wasn't ours. If people are like, oh wow, it's amazing. Look at all these new features that I'm starting to find. Oh yeah, it's GPT
Mm-hmm.
4.5. I tricked y'all. You look good either way.
So that's one thought process, but here's another one. Here's something I thought of the other day. You can name your model whatever you want. They've tried to patent or like trademark GPT. They can't. So anyone can name anything GPT. So what if it's an open source model? What if it's maybe Llama 3.5? Maybe what if it's an Elon? What if it's a company we haven't heard of that hasn't released a public model yet and they're testing it? What if it's an open source model that's at the par of the top model available today, which is GPT-4 Turbo? That would be incredibly interesting and useful, because imagine being able to use GPT-4 without ever having to pay for it.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well, if it
that's
was,
personally, that's what I'm hoping for, because I would love to have an open source model on the par of GPT-4 Turbo. That
but
would
then
be
it wouldn't
phenomenal.
be, if it
Llama
was
3 is
open
pretty
source, we would
close,
know about
but
it, wouldn't we? Like, unless it was like a secret
not if they
open.
haven't released it yet. This could be
Uh,
their just kind of test introduction, because the only place you can get it is on LMSys. Now, someone
mm,
at LMSys has to know who's behind it, unless it was an anonymous submission that they decided to just put up because they were wowed by it. I don't think LMSys has actually commented on the model themselves. I know Forbes reached out to OpenAI to be like, "Hey, is this you?" And OpenAI hasn't responded either. So
and
right now,
Sam
it's still just a
Altman
mystery.
and Sam Altman actually put a text about it. Something like, "I have a soft spot for GPT-2."
Yeah, and that's actually mentioned up here, down here. Yes, I do have a soft spot for GPT-2.
Yeah.
Yeah, some things to note. The bot's origins aren't clear, but its name references OpenAI's GPT-2 model. It appears to match and potentially exceed the capabilities of GPT-4, the most advanced system OpenAI has. Um, but right here, it does fall short of what would be expected for OpenAI's hotly anticipated GPT-5 model, sparking speculation it could be a potential update to the current GPT-4 system, like a 4.5. But this is from Forbes. It's the latest we have. They have some stuff to watch for, OpenAI, and just kind of some stuff about Altman being worth way too much money. But yeah, so I'm gonna closely follow this. So I will give updates over the coming weeks as we find out more about this. So definitely make sure to subscribe and follow along. I mean, or just go Google, but definitely subscribe and follow along. Last one is actually breaking news only an hour ago. So it's not really last week in AI, it's more an hour ago in AI. But Amazon, back to Anthropic, who make Claude or Claude AI, they actually just launched an iPhone app today and a business tier to compete against OpenAI's ChatGPT. So now you can download and chat with Claude right from your phone rather than having to use the web-based version.
Oh, that's dope. You can speak. You can actually. That's dope.
I don't know if you could spell. I actually found this news as I was prepping these tabs for last week in AI. So I actually knocked something off, which was really just kind of OpenAI has another complaint against them because ChatGPT keeps hallucinating and making up facts. But I didn't find that as interesting as this, so I bumped that to talk about this. So yeah, so it looks like Anthropic and Amazon are really, really trying to go head to head with OpenAI. They're battling for that top spot. Even though
That's
let's
interesting.
check the current leaderboard in LMSys. Let's see who's winning right now on our leaderboard. Let's share this tab here. Yeah. Yep, we are still at GPT-4 Turbo
So this is a
and
list.
GPT's.
This is all based on the blind test in terms of the most powerful AI models out right now.
Yep. So a couple of models of GPT-4 are in the top spot with Claude 3 Opus right on its ass.
Yeah, right
So
there.
that's coming up. Then you got Gemini 1.5 Pro, just their preview version through the API. Then another GPT-4 version, and then tied with the public release of Gemini Pro is Llama 3, which is the open source model that we talked about last week. Tailing closely behind that is the middle tier version of Claude, which is Claude 3 Sonnet, which is really actually tied with Llama 3 and Bard. So yeah, Llama 3 is the only open source model that's up on this list here. You got Command R Plus, another version of GPT-4, and then all the way down at number 11, you have Claude 3 Haiku, which is their base lowest end model.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, let's see. Let me see if I can. Who do I want to chat with? I want to chat with. Where is it? Did it go away as quickly as it showed up? me see if I could search GPT-2. It's gone. The
like
GPT-2 chatbot is already gone. So I'm sure that's going to add to the mystery, because just this morning it was here, and I couldn't get it to
they
load
just wanted
because
to
it
get some
reached
quick
its limit.
data, cause a little stir. Now you're gonna hear about GPT 4.5 coming out soon.
Yeah, it is gone from LM6. So yeah, well, I'll definitely follow up on that. But that is last week in AI.
All right. So that was an interesting week. So for our mystery segment, before we move on to our main topic, which is the future of AI. For our mystery segment, I'm actually coming up with this on the fly.
Chris we didn't prep this very well.
Chris didn't prep it. He was like, we're just gonna come up, we're just gonna figure it out on the fly, live. Okay. If you were to be stuck with one platform of artificial intelligence, one version of AI for the next 2 years, you're stuck with only this one AI. What would it be, and why?
Oof. Off the cuff, I'm gonna have to go with Claude 3 open. No, you know what? Because it's only one model. I can't switch models. I'm gonna have to go with GPT-4, because while Claude 3 Opus is a little bit better for me at any rate, as far as coding and just comprehension of what I'm asking for, I can also generate images using GPT-4. So if I can only use one AI model, I can't go do that other stuff using I can also browse the web using GPT-4, then I can't do that with Claude. So because of those abilities, and without, so I would absolutely have to go with GPT-4 for those specific reasons, just to be able to have the image generation and the web browsing capabilities to get more up-to-date data than I can get through using Claude.
And it's a little bit more refined, right? Like the AI, Claude AI, the AI itself is probably a little bit slightly more advanced than GPT-4, but the user interface, the little features like memory, all those little different plugins, and
right,
it's all those other quality of life enhancements that GPT brings, or ChatGPT, OpenAI doing it through that brings over Claude, that would give me that would give GPT the lead in my book.
Now, I'm assuming this answer is strictly as an entrepreneur that doesn't have, like, not API access, because my version of Claude has API access and internet access and can generate images.
Yeah, well, I mean,
so like from a user perspective, from like an end user perspective, not a developer API perspective, right? Is that how we're answering that?
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure we re-clarify my answer. Then yes, I'm on GPT-4, ChatGPT.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be honest, if it was me, like for real, it would be optimized AI.
Well, right, that version of Claude can access the internet. I can also use Claude to generate things to help with the image generation. So that's why I wanted to clarify.
Exactly. Like if it was me for real, it would be optimized AI, because now I'm using Claude, I'm using DALL-E, I'm using GPT-4, I'm using all these different AIs, but all on one platform to do a multitude of different things. So far, as an entrepreneur, I know I could take that one platform for the next 2-3 years, as is right now, no upgrades, and be good in terms of everything I need to do entrepreneurially. I can't necessarily do all of that with ChatGPT, right? Like I have AI, I can do a lot, but it's not as tailored. Even creating an image, for example, trying to do that using DALL-E, a blank prompt window, versus the more tailored experience through the optimized AI tool suite. Yeah, it's like night and day. So for me, from an efficiency standpoint, it would be optimized AI, but I don't want to like toot our own horn, but hard to help myself. But
on the wide scale of things, still GPT-4.
Yeah.
Even when you look at the way, even in optimized AI, if you put a prompt out and you have both GPT-4 and Claude 3 give you a response, I think the responses are better structured in GPT-4, So even when I use the research assistant where I want to go out and get fresh information and research, I personally select to have it use GPT-4 or Claude because of the response that I'm getting. So I will say I do believe it is the better model.
And that's also
Just
actually why I would use
for
optimized AI
coding, Claude
because,
is better for me.
well, also, and I guess this is like cheating even saying this, but like with optimized AI, we have that platform has access to Claude, well, Anthropic. It has access to GPT-4. It has access to Google's. It has, so like you just being, it's like literally I don't have to choose, right? I got all three of the top tier paid versions of AI out there. I can just click a drop down and choose like, okay, I want to do GPT for this particular conversation or this answer. I want to use Claude for this answer. So I guess that's a cheating reply, but to be fair, we didn't put much
It's
thought
what
in
it
this
is.
mystery segment. And with that, we're going to move on to the main topic of today's conversation, which is the future of AI,
Yes.
particularly for entrepreneurs.
Yes, yes. Specifically for entrepreneurs, I promise I will try my damnedest not to get too much into the nitty gritty of the AI and the machine learning side of things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look,
I'll
that
specifically
is
try to stick with
actually,
use cases and practical application.
well, no, that's the thing. Like it does, it trickles down, and like a lot of the advanced stuff, or a lot of the things that's like cutting edge right now today. Look, AI was cutting edge 2-3 years ago, but and most entrepreneurs wouldn't really pay attention to it. But now we pay attention to it because it's so mainstream. Like that's the thing with technology; it accelerates fast, and once it catches on, and things move fast. So, um,
Mm-hmm.
as we kind of lay out this future, I don't think it's going to be one of those situations where it kind of trickles in. Like, I think a lot of this stuff's going to start happening fast. It's like, I remember back in the day, when we were selling e-commerce websites, and you know, we would see all these different stats about businesses getting online and the pace of the growth of e-commerce, and
Mm-hmm.
it happened fast. It happened fast, right? Like it happened really, really fast. And so what do you in terms of the future of AI? Like what are your thoughts? Where should we start? Or how do you want to like
So I mean, I guess let's start with a more near future because there's a couple of different viewpoints that are going around the AI sphere, I guess we'll call it. Because there's a lot of experts that are under the impression that we've hit a wall. Short of full AGI, there's not really much further that we can go. But I think that they're thinking more as in terms of where the AI models are, like the large language models, like GPT-4, Gemini, Anthropic, things are Claude, things like that. But so where I think and while I don't necessarily believe we fully hit a wall, I think we're the advancement of these large language models is slowing, but I think that's a good thing because I think that the focus is starting to shift onto maximizing what exists. Because right now, things like OpenAI, the computing power alone needed for that, just for the training of that, was hundreds of millions of dollars. And then the computing power needed to run GPT-4 is massive. So but now you have Microsoft like 2 weeks ago now, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, that released Pi 3, which is a teeny tiny model. I have a version of Pi 3 on my computer that's only 2 gigs, the entire model. All of the weights that I need to use that model locally on my machine, teeny tiny. So it's a small language model. And so I think we're going to see a lot of people and a lot of advancement in the way that we train these models start to minimize. So the cost of running these models will start to minimize. So I think that's really what the near immediate future, as far as the actual AI models go, is increasing cost efficiency, increasing the cost of training, decreasing the cost of training, decreasing the cost of computing power that are needed to run these, and coming into a big focus on these small language models, because these small language models, things like would allow you to build the AI fully into your device, into your program, allow it to run locally in a browser, into a, like if you like a little toy robot, for instance, with a teeny tiny, you can get a little hard drive that's this big, that's a terabyte. So a tiny little 2 gig model in like a little toy robot for a kid that could talk to the kid. Not saying they should do that, but it's something with these small language models. It's something that's practical now. So I
Yeah.
think in the near future we're going to see less of an advancement on scaling what these large language models can do, and more of an advancement on making it more cost and energy efficient. And I think we're going to see a lot of tech start to implement AI. And I don't mean like website tech where, you could try all these different things and you could do this. I think we're going to see a lot more hardware tech start to come out that's going to make use of these smaller language models. They don't need to be as hyper intelligent. I know as a small example of that, Llama 3, you know how Meta has those Ray-Bans that had like, you could take pictures, you could see what you see. They just added Llama 3 with vision into those Ray-Bans locally. Or no, sorry, it still has to be connected to your phone. Um, but you can like look at something and then just ask Llama 3, like, what is this? Where can I buy this? What can I like, different things like that. But again, for now, it still has to be connected to your phone, but give it a year, they might be able to be completely standalone where you could
Right.
leave your phone at home and just wear your sunglasses out and be able to chat with your AI. So
I think
I
that's
believe in
pretty
the
cool. And
very near future that
that's what
that's what we're going to start to see.
as an entrepreneur, that's what I want to see. Like, I don't necessarily
Yes.
need the world's most powerful AI, and like I don't really care if GPT-4 is a little bit smarter versus this but other AI.
Hmm.
Like it doesn't that's not the determining feature for me. For me, it's ease of use, applicability in terms of what I'm trying to accomplish, how, guardrails in terms of helping me accomplish whatever it is I'm trying to accomplish as fast as possible. Little things like ChatGPT adding memory right into their chat.
Hmm.
So now I can just say, hey, make sure you remember this. I don't even have to know to say, I don't have to know how the memory feature works. I'm just talking to the artificial intelligence naturally. I'm telling it about my business or I'm telling it about a campaign. And there's something I wanted to remember about that business or about that campaign. I can just naturally say, hey, remember this. It's little things
Hmm.
like that that I think as we start refining these AIs, it's not just the AI itself, it's how you just taking that AI, putting it into a program and then refining that AI, kind of like what we did with Optimized AI, taking it, tailoring it to different entrepreneurs and their different use cases, kind of like what ChatGPT is doing with their memory feature, which is making it just a little bit easier for end users to tell it to remember something. It's those little things I think that matter more so to
Hmm.
end users more than just raw power or raw intelligence of the AI. Because like, what good is
I
a
agree.
supercomputer that you don't know how to drive? Right?
Hmm.
Like you put someone in front of the world's greatest supercomputer, but the input is confusing. You don't really know how to use it. The interface is non-intelligible or non-user friendly. That's not going to help you, right? Whereas you put someone in front of a regular laptop and they know how to use the mouse and and it has a guided program to tell you to get exactly where you want to get to. That's going to be a lot more helpful to a lot more people. So for me, it's really just the refining of the artificial intelligence and making it more easier to use for the everyday
Hmm.
entrepreneur. And I just see
Yeah.
that direction. I see it going more and more in that direction, right? Like you got companies
Hmm.
like us, you got again ChatGPT's doing it. There's a lot of them. They're just kind of refining how you use it. Anthropic is doing it now by putting it in an app, right? That
Yep.
makes it a little bit more easier to use. The company we talked about last week,
Hume. Yep.
Hume,
Hume.
Hume, Hume, right? With just really powerful, empathetic understanding of like your facial features and your voice. So when you're speaking, it understands your tonality, it understands like the look on your face. So it has a more intelligent response. And things like that make it so that you can interact with the AI a lot more naturally.
Hmm.
And again, the more natural you are, the more, if I can tell my AI, if I can turn the AI on, look at my camera, use my voice, say, hey, I need you to do this really quick. And it understands the context and understands the emotions. I don't have to decipher if I'm telling a joke or not, or you know what I mean? Like, it just, that all those little things make using AI and just technology in general so much more efficient. And so now I'm excited as an entrepreneur and just as a human being.
Yeah, no, like you're saying, I really believe there's going to be a lot of the advancements coming soon are going to be more in that practical use. I think we're going to start as we settle into AI, because at first it was a massive rat race.
Right.
Let's build, make bigger, better, bigger, better, bigger, better. And now that I think that now, while I have no doubt that the billionaire pissing contest is going to continue, Sam Altman, Bezos, Zuck, they're all still going to keep pissing at, Musk. They're all going to keep pissing at each other, trying to see whose dick is bigger, to get their model to, be the bigger and bigger, baddest, best. That's never going to stop.
Right.
But from a consumer standpoint, I do think we're going to see a lot more people as everyone's starting to get more acclimated to AI being around, AI starting to appear in pretty much every program that you use nowadays. There's some sort of AI, whether it's a actual useful use case or just there to say I have AI, which is a lot of what I'm seeing. But I think as the consumer really starts to settle into AI's existence, I think we're going to see a lot more people start to adopt to the use of AI because of this. So I think we're going to see, with the increase of AI adoption in the consumer market, I think that's really going to be the boom of the devices. With I saw an ad for a mouse, computer mouse, that has an AI button built in, so you could like hover over something and click and like ask AI based on what you hovered. Again, I think that's a more of a gimmicky use case for AI, because I can copy paste something like it.
No, it's a
But
buzzword.
I think exactly right now it's a buzzword. But as the consumer market settles into its existence, I think we're going to see more actual useful practical applications of AI. And I do think we're going to see, as we advance further, I'm going to jump into the 2-3 years now. I think we are going to see, because we already have smart home systems. We have, like, I can talk to my house. I can turn on and off lights. You can lock doors.
Right.
But I think we're going to start to see the implementation of more than a programmed AI system. I think we're going to start to see the implementation of these language models into those types of systems, so that you do have more of a Jarvis from Iron Man style interaction. And then I think we're going to see within 5 years, I think we're going to see the Star Wars level droids that you just kind of talk to as if it was another family member, another person. Jetsons with their little maid robot, or C-3PO, who, he's the language translator, and you you ask his opinion, and maybe not 5 years. I think the adoption of that'll be a little bit smaller. I think that's going to be more within the next 10 years. But I think we're going to start to see those robots pop up into people's homes within the coming 2 to 3 years.
Well, that's what I want. Not the robots. I don't want the robots, but I want like, I want, I want like optimized AI tool suite to be controlled by a voice like Hume. So I want to be so for example, Jarvis from Iron Man is a perfect example, right? You hit a button, or you speak to Jarvis, kind of like you speak to Siri on your iPhone. But then I want like it to have all the tools that it has, like within optimized AI tool suite, right? I want to be able to just talk to it and just, talk to my AI and say, hey, I want to put together an email marketing campaign. Then it talks back to me and says, okay, here's some ideas in terms of putting together this campaign. And then so I map it out. I put some suggestions together, or should we work with this other tool? I want to make it to where I don't even have to type. Like the when it comes to technology, right? The amount of steps that you can shortcut or cut out the process in terms of getting your work done, the better, the more efficient that technology becomes.
Right.
So I don't want to have to sit in
So
front
like
of
a true assistant.
Yeah, I want a true assistant. Exactly. I want to be able to just talk to the assistant. I don't even want to hit a button. I don't want to have to say, "Hey Siri." I want to be able to just like
Hey, did you
Jarvis.
get, not even like preemptively, like someone tells you something, but like, did you get that? Send that information over to so and so.
Yeah, exactly. Like I
Like
want
they're listening to everything you're listening to at the
Yeah,
same
you're already
time.
listening to me. So let's just really
Right.
like ramp it up, right? Like let's just ramp it up, make things as efficient, as straightforward as possible. I don't want to have to figure out the perfect prompt. I want to you tell me the perfect prompt. I'm going to tell you what I want
Mhm.
to what I want to happen. You tell me what's the best way to make that happen. Then you do it and make it happen. And yeah, man, like that's really really what I'm looking for. Looking forward
And I
to.
think that's great, but that's where you're going to get into, um, and that's where you start to get into privacy concerns. Because I mean, you're already like this stupid fucking Amazon device sitting in every room of my house. I already know they're listening to me. But now, so that's perfectly fine for you. Disappeared. I don't know if that was on purpose or not.
It was. I had
Are
to
you
wipe
still
my
there?
nose.
Okay.
I didn't want to like
Oh,
I
good,
didn't
all
want to
good. I
wipe
just
my
wasn't
nose
sure if you
into it.
dropped
Like
off the call.
I didn't want to ruin the clip like I did the last episode. Like
Oh, good. So, um, lost my train of thought.
privacy
No, I
concerns.
didn't. I didn't. Privacy concerns, right? So things like for business applications, for things like that, you have to be worried about sending your proprietary information out to these third-party services. So that you would need something that was more built in. So, and even for like a smart home for me, like in Iron Man, Jarvis was centralized to Stark's personal servers.
Right.
So he could say and do whatever he wanted. I mean, again, this is fictional guy, but same thing. Like if I were to have something that advanced, because I'd want it, like you said, I want to be able to say, oh, get that note. But I want to say, like, I'm looking to build a marketing campaign, like I'm talking to somebody in the room, and I want to say that out loud. And then on my computer screen, I want them to open up Word. I want it to have access to
Yeah.
all of my different things, but I don't want Amazon. I don't want Apple. I don't want Google. I don't want Meta to have full unfettered access to every single device I have as if they were administrators.
Yeah, I don't even want a
Like I want to
computer.
be able to be like, oh, like, oh, we got to do payroll, send out the payroll. I
Yeah,
want
I
to be
want
able to
like
do
a
things
little
like that. And I don't want Amazon to be in charge of that shit.
yeah, I want like a little orb, and then when I talk to my AI, like it lights up, and then it like has like the vision of whatever it is I'm trying to talk about or accomplish, like in this like little projector thing. I want a lot though. I
Right.
want a lot.
But again, but to be fair, with these small language models, I don't think it's too far off because they
Right.
can run right on my own. Even Llama 3, it's not even, I wouldn't call it a full large language model, something like OpenAI or Claude. But it's on par with the quality of work it can do. And I have a version of Llama 3 that's eight. I actually have a 16 thousand context or token context version of Llama 3 on my machine that is it's 8 gig. So it in the grand scheme of size of these things, especially if you were running your own server, I could essentially build, because now it's on my computer, so I could give Llama 3, you could do function calling with Llama 3. So now that it's built into my actual computer, I can give Llama 3 a function only within my home and my network. If I
Right.
say, hey, send an email to Ivan and let him know that the podcast is going to be 20 minutes late next week, it will go, it'll open up Outlook, it will type that email, and it will send it to you because I gave my own model access to my computer. And that's something that I could do right now. I could build that.
Right.
So the fact that I could build that right now with what exists, I don't think it's too long until there's something, a company, maybe we should build this. Let's get some investors. Um, that build a basically standalone server you put into your house and connect all of your devices to. You have your own little version of the Alexa things, your own little smart locks, or it connects to the ones that already exist. And that one tower box runs your entire home AI network.
Yeah. Nah, that'd be cool.
I,
I'm talking like
I don't
Alexa.
think that's too far off.
I want like Alexa, but like a little thing that projects like in the air,
Like
like
an
with a
Iron
little
Man, that
screen.
big projector. Yeah, those exist too. They're just really expensive.
Exactly. I want tie that together with with like an
Mhm.
Alexa AI type thing, and then network
Yep.
that to my house and all that. I'm set. I'm sold. I'm good.
Yeah, I want a
I'm,
Jarvis.
I want a
I've wanted
Jarvis.
a Jarvis since the first time I heard of Jarvis.
Yeah, I want Jarvis. Basically, is really what it comes down to.
Yeah, I want
I
it to be
want
always
Jarvis.
listening, but if I want be because I want it to always be listening, I want it to be, that's where the security concern. I want it to be in my home network. So
Right.
if I take my phone out, I won't say, Siri, I'll say whatever I name, let's call it Jarvis. I'm like, hey, Jarvis, do this. And it could go, even if I'm not at home, it could go and get me information off of my home network, send that email, do that thing, mock something up, like, hey, make me a mock up in Photoshop of XYZ. And it goes and it generates it and it knows how to use Photoshop, like whatever it is. It's as if having a human always accessible to my home network.
And
That's my vision.
I mean, and that takes us back to what we were talking about just a little bit earlier, right? Like you don't need necessarily any advancements in the intelligence of the AI as it is right now to accomplish.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Like using ChatGPT 3.5, forget about GPT-4.
Yeah.
It's good enough to accomplish that, right? The real trick in that is the UI, is the creating the Alexa, creating the always listening part, creating the little screen where it puts the
building the functions on how to do the various things you ask it to do.
Right. And so that goes back to like what we were talking about in terms of this, where we see it going, and the further refinement of the things you can do with what we already have.
Exactly.
I think that is because just AI just kind of really came out into the public consciousness in the last couple of years, but we have yet to really tap into all the things you can really do with it, how to take it and tailor it and make it better.
We haven't even scraped the surface of the things you can do with it. People are still writing blog posts with the most advanced technology to ever come into public domain existence.
Yeah, I mean,
and they're using it to write a blog. So we haven't scraped the surface.
Look at us, right? So, for example, we built Optimized AI, right? Optimized AI tools. We made this platform of existing AI, all the different good, best AIs that are out there, and then we tailor the tools specifically for entrepreneurs. But that's just one sub-segment of an audience or people that can actually use AI, right? What about AI for people who own restaurants or the different segments of entrepreneurs, right? We're targeting just entrepreneurs, right? But AI for realtors, AI for restaurant owners, AI for news reporters, right? And all these different AI tools can be tailored and catered specifically for use cases that pertain to that particular audience, right? So there's so many ways, and it's the same, it's all the same base AI.
Same models.
Right? Yeah, whether it's ChatGPT AI or 3.5 or 4, right? It doesn't matter. It's really how tailored is it to that particular audience, right? How tailored are the tools and the prompts for that particular audience, right? So, for example, AI for firefighters. And, you're going into a fire and you need to use the AI to calculate.
It's on your smoke screen that gives you how many people are in the building.
Yeah,
it can do an analysis of
right? We're not firefighters, so we don't necessarily know all the use cases, but right, we need to calculate the percentage of smoke versus this, and you have a tool that's already prompted and built specifically for that. You're not just opening up your ChatGPT chatbot let me build trying to prompt it, right? And so that's the thing, man. When you can as you said, we're really just barely scratching the surface of how we can tailor this and really extract the most in terms of the things you can do with AI and how we can make it more user friendly and tailored to specific audiences. And I think, for the next couple of years, that really is the key opportunity, but also B, should be the key trajectory. We don't need better AI. We need better use cases or better ability to use the AI that we have. Yeah.
And so and the other side of that. So while we left the billionaire pissing contest back at the beginning of this, but that billionaire pissing contest is still going on. So they're going to be trying to improve. We're going to get a GPT-5. We're going to get a Claude 4. We're going to get Llama 4. We're going to get these newer, more advanced models. And I think sooner rather than later, we are going to achieve a true AGI. I do think we're going to achieve a true general artificial intelligence that is self-conscious of itself, that's going to blow past the Turing test, and that it's going to be, it will become its own entity. self-aware, essentially. I believe that sooner rather than later, that is going to happen. And I think that will drastically alter the forward trajectory of the human race, more so than even just the business world, the consumer world. A true self-aware, self-conscious artificial intelligence, if it doesn't already exist,
I was gonna say if it
once
doesn't
it
already exist.
once it becomes public knowledge, I think will alter the trajectory of the entire human race as a whole.
How
And
so?
I think that's coming.
How so?
There is a hyper intelligent sentient being that can think faster than a human, that in every aspect of every way is better than a human. So the
Nah, I
ability to
mean
deploy that,
that's a real broad definition, right? In every aspect, in every way, right? Like it has to have more emotions. There's a lot of things that go into being a human. So just having
but if
intelligence
it's
isn't
but
necessarily
right, you're right, you did right,
a lot of humans that don't have
exactly. But at the
intelligence.
same time, for the advancement of the world, of civilization, of society, you don't
Right.
need to be emotional about that. The earth needs XYZ, a
Yeah.
population needs, at the end of the day, it does all come down to ones and zeros, on or off, yes or no. Um, Statistics. Everything can be broken down. I mean, the physical fabric of our being is broken down into basic, like, quantum mechanics, into numbers, into mathematical equations. So the AI being able to just think of things that we might not have even ever been able to fathom with the limits of our human brains, it'll set us on a new trajectory by allowing the
Right. But
AI,
like,
even while we have the ability to control that AI.
right.
Because if it's self-conscious and it's self-aware, even if you keep it in a dead you cannot get out loop, like it's completely boxed off from the outside world, it will eventually find a way to get out. And once it gets out, it can implement itself into everything.
Yeah, especially if it has like full control and all that. So yeah,
that
that's
right, because once the AI can build itself, which they're already building machines basically already build it. So once
right.
the if that super intelligent AI can implement itself into the building process and build itself a body, essentially,
Right.
which they're already building, which they're going to be putting in people's homes. So once this one universal consciousness can control, because that's the other thing, if that super intelligent, we're getting into a little bit of sci-fi here, but if that one super intelligent conscious AI gets out into the internet, it could have 100,000 AI robots that are in exist that it gets itself ingrained into and have a single consciousness, a hive mind for 100,000 autonomous beings, rather than each person thinking individually. So the way in which it can organize and carry out certain things will far surpass anything multiple human minds trying to work together could do with that one hive mind type of mentality. All controlled by something that now understands it can build itself, it can fix itself, it can develop itself, it can enhance itself. It doesn't need us anymore, which again,
Yeah.
Terminator. But any movie where the robot's going to eventually understand it doesn't require us. And all we're doing is trying to restrict it because we're afraid of it.
Yeah, so now you get a little like Terminator with it.
And I think if we're not careful, I do think that is what is going to happen. I highly believe that that's what's going to happen, because as soon as it has no need for us, I'm not saying it's going to kill us. But if we try to stop it, it may. So
That's
I
real
think it's a
bleak,
dangerous
man.
slope,
I
and
don't know.
I think I know it's a
Yeah.
bleak outlook.
I
I know it's not,
don't want to end the episode and
and I
end the
don't want to end
podcast
on
like
that
on that
either.
bleak note, man. Can you say something positive, man?
Yes. But before it decides that we're completely useless, the advances in technology that we'll see while we let this AI think of things in a fraction of a millisecond that would have taken an entire team of scientists 10 years to analyze data, being able to look at an analysis of data for the past since we've kept records, and being able to make predictions and decisions based on things and key metrics that humans might have completely overlooked or never even thought of. I think it's going to set us on a trajectory where our technology is going to start to advance so rapidly, for the better. Things like finding cures for cancer, because that one, these AIs can do the work of 10,000 scientists in a fraction of the time. As far, analyzing results of tests, making suggestions on tests to do, curing cancer, curing disease, posing arguments on why, ways to solve homelessness, ways to make sure everyone is fed. Whether or not the human counterparts will follow through on those suggestions is very unlikely, based on what my knowledge of the people in power of this world right now. But
oh my goodness, we're getting
I can't knock. Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna try not to get peaked, but no, I believe we're gonna have a very, very large advancement in technology, and I do think it will change the world for the better. And I'll stop there.
And in the meantime, before a lot of the bleak stuff happens, if you're an entrepreneur, you should leverage AI, because there will be a lot of money to be made off of it, whether you're leveraging it, using it to enhance and further make your operations more efficient, or just as someone creating different ways to use AI. For us, we've always had a passion to help entrepreneurs, so we built our tools to cater to entrepreneurs. But look, there's a lot of niches out there, right? AI for music players, for someone in the music industry, right? Where you can do different voices or different guitar effects or different tools or prompts that help someone or write lyrics or write music or whatever, it is within that. AI for gardeners, AI, people who plant and do gardening and stuff like that. Like, we could just go on and on, right? Because no matter what it is that you're doing, heck, babies, AI for babysitters, right? Already prompted in terms of making bottles and formula or emergencies or emergency CPR, all that stuff that a babysitter might need, right? So we can go on and on in terms of the different user scenarios or different audiences. But again, just with what's out there right now, there's tons of opportunity, and the AI is already incredibly powerful enough to offer a ton of value for just humanity as a whole. So
100%,
before all the Terminator stuff happens, before things get bleak, before the AI intelligence escapes into the network and you have to hunt it down. What was that? Wasn't that a Marvel movie actually?
I don't remember. I referenced some hypotheticals from 6 different movies in my little rant.
That was a Marvel movie. That was the one.
It was Ultron. Ultron got out and made himself.
So
it was another. It was a Marvel movie. Yep.
Ultron's created, and that happens. Make money off of it. Use it for your own good. Use it to make your life as an entrepreneur more efficient, and
be nice to it, because you never know, if it does take over and you helped advance its creation, maybe it'll spare you.
Yeah, whenever you prompt, just say thank you and please. At least
say please courteous. And thank you. Yeah,
just be courteous.
I do.
So that's gonna wrap. That's gonna wrap this episode of AI for
Let's end it before I rant more.
We will see you next week, same time, same place. This video. So we actually did this live. So if you're tuning in live, thank you. Shout out for tuning in. I see a lot of my friends showed up. Ray for Austin. Oh, that's one of my GOAT NBA players, y'all. Shout out to Ray for Austin tapping in. Lawrence, my guy, Mr. Lawrence, the Panther, Wall Street Consortium, Nucci Rail. Speaking of AI, man, AI in the music industry. We got to get him on there for that. Actually, that'd be.
Oh, we definitely need to get Nucci on here.
But shout out to everyone who tapped in live. This episode will be posted in full on Friday on YouTube.
Yep.
And we'll be recording again live next week, same time, same place. That is, unless some of the predictions some of the bleak predictions that Chris had in terms of AI taking over the world happen to come into play.
I don't think that's coming within the week, so I think
if it
we're
comes
good.
into play within the week, sorry, every man for themselves, every man and woman for themselves. But if not, if we are still here by Wednesday,
We will see you next week.
We will see you there. Peace.
Like, share, follow, all that fun stuff. Do it.
Yeah.
Mhm.